This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better.
2, 1.
Hey, welcome to the best day of the week. Kevin Trudeau here, world's best mentor. World's best mentor. It's official. World's best mentor. The Kevin Trudeau Show. Thanks for joining me. We have a great show today. Taking your phone calls. We'll be putting the phone number up in just a minute. So today, taking your phone calls. Next week, I got information that you absolutely need to hear. It's going to blow your mind. You've never heard it before. The week after, same thing. I'm just going to load you up with stuff. I'm ready to blow the lid off on things that, number one, are going to surprise you. It's like a look behind the curtain. And it's going to blow you away because if you listen to a lot of the other guys on the internet and you hear all these stories and opinions and theories, well, you're going to be hearing the truth from firsthand experience in the next couple weeks. More importantly, not only is it going to shock you, but I'm going to give you the information that's going to help you build your life better in every area. Your health, your enlightenment or peace, the ability to handle adversity, enjoy peace and joy, better relationships, just really enjoy your life better than you've had before. And then also the third pillar, you got health, happiness, and then wealth. How to use this information so you can create massive amounts of money in your life. So I'll be sharing with that the next couple of weeks. But today I'm going to be taking phone calls. But first, before we go to your calls, the book of the week. Years ago, there were a couple celebrities. Some of you may or may not have heard of them. One of them was a woman comedian named Phyllis Diller. Man, I wish I told Drew or Joe to get a picture of Phyllis Diller. Man, that would have been great. But anyway, Phyllis Diller. I didn't even know I was going to mention Phyllis. Phyllis was a woman comedian. And at that time, you know, back in the 50s and 60s and early 70s, there weren't very many women comedians who did virtual stand-up comedy. Lucille Ball did some comedy on TV, the Carol Burnett. They were amoebas. I mean, they were just like completely different. And Phyllis Diller was an amazingly successful comedian and incredibly talented. I've never met her, but I hear also a wonderful human being. She was asked, how is it that she created such amazing success? And she said, I read a book. And she went on to talk about one book that made all the difference. And she used the techniques in this one book to create massive success. Before Phyllis Diller, back in the 50s, there was another man, a pianist. Can you think who it is? He had a TV show. His name was Liberace. And Liberace on his TV show was the first guy on TV that instead of talking to the audience and having the TV film him, he actually was playing the piano to the audience and he did something that shocked all of the producers. He looked into the camera and he said, well, all of you at home, I send all my love. This song's for you. And he connected with the audience and he became a superstar in Vegas and so forth. They asked Liberace, you're a piano player, but you are the most successful, prosperous, wealthiest piano player of all time. An international superstar, and quite frankly, they said, you're not the best piano player. They asked him, how did you do it? He said, it was because of a book. You know what that book is? I don't know. Did you guys already show the book on the screen? I hope not. You blew my big reveal. The book, which shouldn't have been revealed yet. The book is this: The Magic of Thinking Big. I'm sorry, The Magic of Believing. I'm all befuddled now because it was already on the screen. Threw me off, man. The Magic of Believing. The Magic of Believing was a book that was written, I believe, in the 50s. Excuse me. This book was written in 1948. 1948. That's why Liberace in the 50s had a chance to read it. The book was written in 1948. Look, it is one of the pillars of the secret to success. The Magic of Believing. Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, who wrote the book, The Power of Positive Thinking, was a good friend of Ed Foreman's, one of my best friends, and I knew Dr. Peale, said one of the greatest inspirational and motivational books ever written. It is the bedrock of all success. So many people. Dennis Waitley came out with The Psychology of Achievement, The Psychology of Winning. And Dennis Waitley, back when he put this audio course together, based that whole series. This guy was a major PhD, Dr. Dennis Waitley. That whole series, The Psychology of Winning. In other words, he took winners. What is their unique psychology? The whole bedrock, the whole foundation of that course, The Psychology of Winning and The Psychology of Achievement and The Psychology of Success, he did 3 of them, is this book, The Magic of Believing. The Magic of Believing is a book, if you have not read it, you need to read it. It's written in 1948, so it's going to be a little bit harder read than most books. Is it worth it? Yes. If you apply the techniques in here, do they work? Yes. 100% of the time. There was another book written years ago. It was called The Success System That Never Fails. And it's based on this book, 1948. If you look at all the success books today and all the success gurus and what they talk about, whether they read this book or not, you can pull out, and I've done this, you pull out all their training. It's based on the foundational principles of this book. When I was in the Brotherhood back in the late 60s, early 70s, and throughout the 70s, up into actually the mid-80s, I was given basic training from my mentor, from the group, and so forth. But I was given basic training books, and that is what I'm giving to you. These are my recommended books. This is one of the foundational books of success. It's something that you should read, underline, read it again, study it, have discussion groups about it, talk about how you're applying the techniques, how they worked or how maybe they didn't work, and correcting those. This is a foundational book for success, The Magic of Believing. I could give you a dozen more people that specifically said that that book, The Magic of Believing, is the reason they became famous and incredibly wealthy. That book. And then I can give you names of people that have wonderful relationships. And when you ask them, how did you're lucky. You found the man of your dreams, or you found the woman of your dreams. Luck has nothing to do with it, they'll say. I used the techniques in that book. And over the years, I interviewed hundreds of these people from all around the world, all different cultures. And they used those techniques because they work. So highly recommend it and get that book. Okay, so now before we go to the phone calls, I think we just went dead. There we go. Now we're back. Kevin Trudeau, movie critic. All right. So Kevin Trudeau, movie critic now. I am going to give you my movies of the week. All right. First movie. It is, I was about to say a new movie. But again, every time I say a new movie, you guys look at me like, that movie's like 30 years old. When did that, that movie came out before I was born. These guys over here laughing at me all the time. All right, so there's a newer movie, which means it's not in black and white. How's that? It's actually in color. The movie isn't very good. Why am I recommending it? If it's not that good. Well, it's got George Clooney in it. Okay, but it's still not that good. The movie is based on a true story. And many people think, oh, it can't be true. I can guarantee from personal knowledge, it is based on a 100% true story. And it's a story that will open your eyes to reality. The movie is called Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. It is based on the true story of a man in Hollywood named Chuck Barris. Chuck was the host of The Gong Show. Chucky baby, Chucky baby, Chucky baby. He was also the producer of the Newlywed Game. Some of you remember the whole Newlywed Game. It was a funny game show. He was also the producer of The Dating Game. One of the bachelors on The Dating Game when he was very young was a young man named Brad Pitt. Interesting. But Chuck was in Hollywood and he produced The Dating Game and several other game shows. Now, the story is that Chuck, because of a series of reasons, was recruited into the CIA. And that's true. And he was recruited into the CIA to be an assassin. And that's true. Now, if you ever watched The Dating Game or the Newlywed Game, it was very weird because whoever won that particular week, they got a prize. On all the other game shows, the prize was like, you know, they're newlyweds, right? Well, you're newlyweds. You've just won a washer and dryer. Or they're newlyweds. You just won a set of cookware and some steak knives. But on The Dating Game, you won a romantic date to Romania, behind the Iron Curtain. I'm watching this when I was a kid going, I knew exactly. So I went and saw my uncle. I said, I know what they're doing. He laughed. He goes, yeah, you want to meet the guys? Yes. So The Dating Game had two people that had never met. They won the dating game, and their prize with a chaperone who happened to be Chuck Barris. It was always a week or a weekend or 5 days in a city, in a country behind the Iron Curtain. Now think about this. How perfect. The CIA says we have an assassin by the name of Chuck. How do we get him behind the Iron Curtain? We hide the secret in plain sight. We have Hollywood say, hey, you know, we're going to send some people over to Romania, Bulgaria, and we're going to send these two people that won the prize, and we're going to send a chaperone by the name of Chuck. All right, come on in. So they get visas because it's Hollywood, and it's on TV. And when Chuck goes over to chaperone the other two people, guess what Chucky Poo does? Chucky Poo meets his contact, gets the weapon, does the hit, disposes of the weapon, and gets back out of the Iron Curtain. Now, I kind of blew the movie for you. But you watch the movie. It is eye-opening. Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. Again, not the best movie. There's a little bit of violence in there. I don't remember if they had any profanity or nudity, so beware. The second movie. So that's the heavy movie. The second movie. which I will rate as a movie critic, I will rate high, is also a newer movie because that means it's in color. So it's not an old movie. It's a new movie because it's in color. It's called Airplane. Airplane is a spoof. I believe it was done by the Zucker brothers. It is something that you should consider watching because the comedy and some of the racist things that are said to be for comedic effect were light and not hurtful. Abortion is mentioned in there in a comedic way. Jews are mentioned in there in a comedic, non-offensive way. Homosexuality is brought up in a comedic, non-offensive way. Now, you may find it offensive, but in survey, homosexuals don't find it offensive. Jews didn't find it offensive. People who've had abortions or women's rights activists didn't find it offensive. It is a light-hearted way of taking serious subjects where there's a lot of debate on both sides and bringing levity to these subjects. It is pretty darn funny, I think. And there's a great actor in there, Leslie Nielsen, who I loved. God bless his soul. He was a spectacular actor. He was a serious actor. Then he went into comedy. So you should consider watching Airplane. I think it's a spectacular movie. So that's my movie recommendations for the week. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Click the subscribe button down there and leave comments. And if you've watched any of my movie recommendations or read any of my recommended books and you want to put a comment in there, throw a comment in there. If you've watched any of the shows, and by the way, if you haven't watched some of the past shows, I'm giving you world-class, life-changing, powerful information and hopefully making you laugh a little bit at the same time. Okay, so who am I going to be now? I know. So I'm going to take your questions, and you're talking to Kevin Trudeau, super genius. Super genius. All right, so let's put the number on the screen so we can take some questions here, and we will be taking questions. Let's go to the first caller. Okay, you're live on the air. What's your name?
Hey, I'm Steven.
Hey, Steven. Thanks for calling in. Do you have a question or a comment?
I do have a question. So you talk a lot about minding the people that you have around you. In a given situation where you have to make a decision in order to help you get closer to where you want to be or change your circumstances, whether it's end a relationship, move backwards from a friend, or maybe even terminate an employee. Can you elaborate on what that energetic, what are the words I'm trying to find? The exchange of energy when you have to make a decision like that. On one end, you're making the decision because you think it's for the best, but on the other end, the other person can take it as you're giving up on me. So can you elaborate a little bit on what it is that you're putting out when you have to make a decision like that? Yeah,
that's a very good question. And thanks for bringing it up. All right, so here's the basic philosophy for those of you who aren't familiar. Your income is going to be the average of your 5 best friends. So think about that right now. Who are your 5 best friends? Your income is going to be the average of your 5 best friends. Many of you have to find some new friends. Next. Your attitude is going to be the average of your 5 best friends. Your attitude is going to mimic the people you associate with. Think about this. Aristotle Onassis, who at the time was one of the richest men on planet Earth, said in his opinion, the number one key to success was who you associate with, who you hang around. Every person puts out a frequency. Every person puts out a vibration based on their thought patterns. Some people are low vibration people, and we know this. Some people are high vibration people, and we know this as well. Some people are so negative. There was one guy I knew who was so negative. Everybody called the guy Sunshine. because as soon as he left the room, the whole room brightened up. I mean, this guy was like, Debbie Downer, right? He'd come in. It was like he was Linus. He had like a black cloud all around his head. So he'd walk into a room and the whole room would just divide. It was so palatable. He was so negative. Some of you walked into rooms and houses where people, maybe a married couple, got divorced and they were fighting all the time and they were going to sell the house, and you walk in and you're going, ugh, I can just feel the terrible energy. Versus you go into a house or a room and you could feel the love that was there. Energy permeates physical objects, but it also affects us even more. So when we associate with people that are negative, that are not upbeat, that are always critical and judgmental, it is going to have an effect on us. So how do we change that situation? Because the ideal scene is your friends and the people that you work with and the people you spend time with and the people that you associate with are all motivated, upbeat people. Isn't it interesting when you find a superstar in any industry that some of the people they went to school with are also superstars? I was just listening to Tom Brady talk about how he was in school and Bob Greasy's son was there as well, who became an NFL quarterback. So you associate with winners and you become like them. Success breeds success. So with that in mind, how do we change our friends? First and foremost, by improving ourselves. It's always all about becoming a better you. It's investing your time and money in personal development, working on your attitude, getting what's inside you motivated, getting what's inside you inspired, getting what's inside you positive. It's always not, forget about changing other people. You can't. And stop blaming other people or blaming your circumstances because you can't. You change on what's on the inside, and that comes out and your situation automatically improves without you trying. You focus on yourself. Don't try to change the other guy, make him positive, get him motivated, get him inspired. Forget about that. Work on yourself. So how do you change these situations? Number one, if you just work on yourself, the situation will magically change. I've seen this hundreds of times in the last 35 years, 40 years, as I've been talking about this, where people say, I'm in a toxic, you ever hear this? I'm in a toxic work environment. Oh, really? So you are susceptible to the negative influence of other people. So you're weak. Is that what you're saying? No, but the environment's so toxic. Yeah, you're weak. No, it's toxic. You're weak. You're weak. Get strong. Be so strong that you change your environment and have it, instead of having your environment affect you. If you are at cause over your environment, now you're a winner. Winners are at cause over their environment. Losers are at effect. It's a toxic relationship. He's toxic. She's toxic. My boss is toxic. Oh, there's smells in the room. We can't have perfume. I'm sensitive to perfume. Oh, I'm sensitive to that. I'm sensitive to this. You're weak. Okay? You're weak. 30 years ago, I'd use a couple of other expletives, which are politically incorrect today, referring to a woman and referring to a man's sexual preference. Can't say that today, but in the old days we would, and nobody, because we didn't know we were offending anybody at the time. We didn't think so. Now we see, we kind of learn our lesson. But you're weak. Work on yourself, and when you start working on yourself, guess what magically happens? What magically happens is, a perfect example. I was talking to this, I was slapping somebody around that I knew and cared about, and they said, my God, this is the fire of the guru. Because they came to me as a guru, and I'm in a toxic work environment, and after I slapped them around a few times, not figuratively, okay, I did hit him a few times, but it wasn't hard. After I slapped him around a few times, told him to smarten up and work on himself, He did. I said, just forget about the other people. Just work on improving your positivity and your frequency. 3 months later, maybe, came to me and said, you're not going to believe this. I said, believe me, I'll believe it. I says, everything changed in your office, right? He goes, how did you know? I go, I can see it. He goes, yeah, you wouldn't know. Well, number one, I got transferred. So all the people that were in that office that were toxic, I got transferred into another department. And this new department, you wouldn't believe it. I go, I will believe it. All the people were positive and enthusiastic and like health-oriented and meditated. Yeah, they did yoga. They used to go all together out and do yoga at night, and they would meditate together twice a day. I couldn't believe it. They were all like, drinking herbal teas, and they were very enthusiastic, and they were always saying positive things and patting you on the back. And man, what a different environment. I goes, yeah. Guess what changed? Your environment matches your frequency. If you are in a toxic environment, everybody, that means you are the toxic one. It's your frequency that's attracting that into your environment. So in answer to this particular question, what happens when you're in a relationship that you don't think is helpful or healthy or beneficial to you? How do you cut these people off? You can certainly disengage. You can disconnect. You can simply not talk to them anymore. I remember I was talking to a guy about this one time, and all of a sudden I called him up on the phone, and it went to his answering machine. This is when you had answering machines at the house. And I was talking about disconnecting, And he says, you're right, I'm going to do that. So I call him up on the phone, and the message was, hey, this is Don. I'm making some major changes in my life, so if you leave your name and phone number, and if I don't call you back, you're one of the changes. Thought that was great. And he just said, yeah, I just decided I'm not going to take that person's phone call. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to see him. I'm done. I'm just disconnecting. I don't care if they like me, hate me, whatever. I'm focusing on me. And I just don't want them in my life. With no animosity, with no animus, with no judgment or criticism, just choosing to improve their conditions. And that's perfectly fine to do. Disconnecting is okay. But I would suggest you can do that. But if you do that without correcting yourself, then somebody else is just going to come into your life just as toxic. Let's go to the next phone call. You're live on the air. What's your name?
Kevin Trudeau, my name is Xavier Gomez. I call from Finland.
Oh, nice to have you on the call. Do you have a question or a comment?
I have a question. How can I connect more with the present? How can I be more present?
Good question. Hold on. All right, so let me answer this, but now I'm going to change from being super good, super genius to now I'm going to answer as Kevin Trudeau Guru. All right. How can I connect more to the present? Well, the first part of that is, why do you, well, I'll put it there. Do that, right? So the first part of the question is, and by the way, that's real. Just because I'm in a suit and tie. You know what we need to get, by the way? I have this, on next week's show, I'm going to wear something really cool. But I need to get an Indian guru outfit. So I can sit here dressed as a, because I'm dressed in a suit and tie right now, but I need to look like an Indian guru. Maybe even get a wig and a beard or something. So we'll put that down. Or something Indian. I need to come here dressed as an Indian, not from, not bow and arrow, Chippewa, Arapaho, Sioux, American natives. I'm talking about from India. William's over there holding his mouth. He can't stop laughing. It's okay if I'm funny, because I am. In addition to being a guru, I need one that says comedian. Or world's funniest man. That's another one we look at. All right. What the hell was the question? Now I know what the question was. The question was about how do we be more present? I appreciate you calling in. Did you say from Finland? Was it from Finland? Yeah, from Finland. We have people watching all over the world. All right, so I am now guru. And Drew, this should be a thumbnail. The secret to becoming more present. The first question, when we talk about becoming present, is why do you want to be more present? Look, there's three parts of our life. There's three parts where we can focus on. We can focus on our past, we can focus on the present, or we can focus on our future. You have to have full knowledge and awareness of your past. The more you can confront your past with full alignment, that will empower you. But you can't live in the past like most people. You also have to think about the future. Picture what you want. Picture yourself in attainment and in possession of what you desire. And feel now as if you were in possession of what you desire. And then release the attachment to that outcome. Meaning, feel it's perfectly okay if I never get it. I will still feel now as if I was in attainment of it, whether I have it or not. That opens up the windows of heaven and the blessings come in. So then why do we need to live in the present? Because if we live in the future, we live in a dream world. Gordon Ramsay, a stupidly successful chef, entrepreneur, restaurateur, who I would love to meet, by the way. I think the guy's just fantastic. And a talent on TV as well. Whether or not his brush attitude is real or an act, I think he's a good performer. Talented chef, clearly. Extraordinary in entrepreneurship and wealthy. Coming from nothing, creating massive wealth, he said it best. You have to have a dream. But you can't live in a dream world. And that says it all. So we can't live in the future. We visit the past. We learn from the past, confront it, get rid of any samskars or energetic imprints from our past that are controlling us today. We think about our future and what we want, but we live. So we visit the past, we visit the future, but we live in the present. Because the only thing that is real, the thing that will give us the greatest joy and happiness, is being blissful right now, here in the moment. There is a well inside your heart. It is an eternal well. It's infinite in its joy, bliss, and love. Because you are the pure extension and expression of God's love. Just as God is love, so are you. You are love. So if you look within, as Jesus Christ said, the Quran says, the Vedas in India say, all the spiritual texts, in ancient Judaism, the Kabbalah, the Zohar, everything says, look within. And if you look within, instead of trying to have external conditions of decide whether you're happy or sad, if you look within, which is what meditation is about, if you look within, you will find everything. God lives within you as you. And therefore, regardless of the external conditions or circumstances you're facing, whether you're in prison, whether you've been wiped out financially, whether your boyfriend or girlfriend left you or you caught them cheating, whether you just got a lawsuit, whether you had to file bankruptcy, whether a child died, whether a loved one just became a paraplegic in a horrible car crash, whether you have just a diagnosis of cancer, whatever the external conditions are, you can still maintain bliss and joy. The Buddha said pain in life is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Think about that. So how do we live in the present? One simple technique is what we did when we were a child, where we would pick up a leaf and we would just look at the leaf. Throughout the day, I do something like this. This connects you with the present. Simply being one with what you're looking at. Be there. That connects you with the present. You can do that with any object. Touching an object and holding it connects you with the present. Looking at it connects you with the present. And the third technique, so looking at something, touching something for 5 or 10 seconds, connects you with the present. Meditation. And I'll do a whole segment on meditation in the future. But meditation, 20 minutes a day, twice a day is ideal, and that's all you need. Some people do an hour twice a day. Some people do 5 minutes 3 times a week. Anything is better than nothing. But that will also help quiet the mind, stop the monkey mind, and bring you more into the present. There is power in the now. Let's go to the phone lines. There is power in the now. Let's go to the phone lines. Okay, do we have somebody on the phone? Okay, we have, you're live on the air. Kevin Trudeau here, what's your name?
Hi, this is Alex from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Hi, Alex. You have a question or a comment?
Hey there, thank you for all you do. And I just want to say thank you for all you do. And I couldn't agree with you more when you had mentioned Godzilla -1. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so thank you for putting that out there.
Oh, Alex, how did you like, so hold on a second. How did you like that movie? That was, I think that was the very first movie I recommended on the show, Godzilla -1, minus color. So did you see the color version or the black and white?
I originally seen the color version in theaters. However, I would like to see the black and white as well to get an experience on both of them.
Okay, so you saw the color version, and how? So you're a Godzilla fan. That means you've seen a lot of Godzilla movies, right?
Absolutely. Ever since I was a young boy, I grew up on Godzilla.
Okay, so how did you like this one?
Oh, it was just fantastic. It was unlike any other Godzilla movie that I've ever seen. I mean, the storyline, it was just emotional, very impactful, and it just engaged the creature and the human element just so perfectly and pristinely, in my opinion. So I thought it was just excellent all the way around.
Good. So if you're watching right now, take Alex and my advice. Watch Godzilla -1. I recommend the non-color version, Godzilla -1 minus color. I think that's the better version. Both of them are outstanding, and I think that it's the best Godzilla movie ever out there. Now, you have a question too, Alex?
Yes, actually, my question is, which just came to mind, actually, do you foresee in the near future or in this lifetime another possible pandemic or outbreak taking place?
Okay, hold on a second now. I got to move from guru. Here we go. Kevin Trudeau, psychic. So now I'm going to give psychic. Kevin Trudeau, psychic. All right. So let me put on the psychic mode. I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, when I was the founder of the American Memory Institute, which became the largest memory training school in the world, I went into a room at a Chamber of Commerce meeting. There must have been about 100 people there, and I met everybody before the meeting started. And when I was asked to speak, I said, hey, listen, if I met you before the meeting, stand up. Well, about 100 people in the room stood up. I said, I'm going to go around the room really fast and give you your first and last name. If I get you right, have a seat. If I missed, then you have to remain standing for the rest of my talk. Everyone left. I went around the room, got everybody's first and last name. There was a newspaper editor there. He was blown away. So afterwards, he says, I want to do a story on you. I said, great. He goes, we got a photographer, so we want to take some pictures. Can you demonstrate the technique that you use to remember everybody's name? I go, what do you mean? Yeah, like physically show us like what you were doing. I go, well, I did it in my mind. Yeah, but give us something physical. So I said, oh, you mean like this? They took a picture of that. And on the front page of the newspaper, here's the picture. And it says, Kevin Trudeau demonstrating his technique to remember names. So I can tell you, if you want to remember names, don't go, hold on a second. It's not going to help you. So I will, but this is the technique to be psychic. No, I'm kidding. All right, so here's how it works. As you know, there are certain words that if I mention on YouTube, I will get banned from YouTube. So one of them and the other one cannot mention. So I will not mention those words for fear of the Nazi censors. You know, we censor everything, the propaganda. Joseph Goebbels, some of you don't know what I'm talking about, but there was a World War II. There was a Nazi regime. There was a minister of propaganda who was in charge of book burning, and everybody thinks the Nazis were involved in censorship and book burning. Oh, that's true. And they said, Stalin, Soviet Union, book burning, censorship. Well, that's true too. Mao, China, communist China, book burning, censorship. That's true. You know who are the #1 book burners and censors in the world in the history of mankind? The United States government. In connection with the social media platforms. They are working together, and it is the CIA. And that's not opinion, first-hand experience. I was talking to Gorbachev years ago. We were on a private plane together. We discussed the KGB and the CIA. Look, I can tell you stories. I will, maybe not on this show, in private meetings at high-level members with the Global Information Network, and I've already revealed stuff there because they are sworn to secrecy. Look, it's real. So, psychic, not really. I'm going to answer this question as former insider. The answer is there are many things planned to increase government control. If you heard about the globalist agenda, one of the things that has to happen in order for the globalist agenda to be manifest is to have the majority of the public bow down and follow orders. So there's a whole series of things being done which are reducing your self-determinism. There are certain things being done, and it's little by little by little that you don't notice. And it builds up, it's cumulative. It reduces your self-determinism. It reduces your ability to be rational and make conscious decisions. And that's the whole control. The CIA, and again, I know this from personal experience, has a dictum. And it is in writing. And the dictum is, controlling information and disinformation is the ultimate power. So think about that. Let's go to the phone lines. Kevin Trudeau here. Everything they don't want you to know about. We have a caller. What's your name and where you're from?
I'm calling from Brampton, Canada, and my name is Jessica.
Nice to meet you. Do you have a question or a comment?
I have a question for TT.
Yes, go right ahead.
Hello.
Yes, you're live on the air. What's your question?
Oh, sorry. Hey, my question is, you say in the 10 steps that we need to picture what we... can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, you say in the 10 steps that we need to picture what we want and feel as if we already have it. So I actually have some troubles with visualization. So is there anything you would suggest that could increase my imagination power, or it doesn't really matter, it's just the feeling matters?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. There's a lot of people. When I did memory training, one of the things we taught people is get a picture in your mind. So I'm going to do a demonstration right now for everybody and play along with this. What I want you to do is don't think of a cat. Don't think of a cat. Now, for almost everybody watching or listening to this, a picture of a cat came in your mind. Maybe it was a white cat, maybe it was a black cat. If you own a cat, maybe it was your cat. Some picture of it came in your mind. You may say, maybe not, maybe so, I'm not sure, but most people would say absolutely. Let me give you another example. What I want you to do is describe to me your living room couch. Describe your living room couch. Can you describe it? No, I can't tell you what it is. I don't even know if I have a couch. Believe me, nobody's saying that. If I were to sit down with you and said, describe your living room couch. William, if I said, describe your living room couch, could you describe it to me? What color is it?
Blue.
It's blue. Thank God he has a living room couch. I asked somebody on TV one time, describe your living room couch. I was on QVC. And the woman says, I don't have a couch. My room is filled with packages from QVC. Because I had to sell the couch to buy stuff from QVC. Okay, so yours is blue. Okay. Is it a big couch or a small couch?
Medium.
It's a medium-sized couch. How many people can sit on the couch?
4.
Okay. Is it leather or is it cloth?
Cloth.
It's cloth. Okay. Does it have a tall back or a short back?
Short.
Okay. So as you're describing it to me, are you seeing a picture of your couch in your mind? Right? You're like looking at it in your mind. Everyone can describe their living room couch. Describe your car. You can see a picture of it in your mind as you describe it. Some of you are going to see pictures in your mind much more detailed than others, but all of you can. And if you say, I absolutely see nothing but blackness, all this means is one of two things. Either A, there's a physiological problem in your brain, which means you probably are low in phosphatidylcholine, so you probably need to take lecithin, and if it's a natural organic lecithin, it should have a 32% phosphatidylcholine concentration. Hold on. Natural health expert. So you could have a lecithin or a mineral deficiency. It could be a magnesium deficiency. It could be a calcium deficiency. You also could have a circulatory deficiency. Ginkgo biloba, the herb, is very good for this. There's a vitamin E. There's only one of them I recommend. It's called Unique E. Unique E, it's the only vitamin E I recommend, which will help circulation, and that can improve your ability to visualize. If you're taking pharmaceutical drugs, that will reduce your ability to visualize. Now, I was with Gary Spivey. Matter of fact, I was just talking to him last night. And Gary is a psychic, and he sees things in his mind. And I know this. I work with guys who, like I, see things. You know, we go into a room and we do testing where we say, okay, what's in that corner? And then we will draw or write down what we see in the corner. And then we'll match. And that way we know we're all in the same dimension or plane. And there was one instance where I saw something and Gary saw something different. And I said, Gary, hold on a second. Let me see where that is. And I said, you're on a different dimension. Go up. And he goes, oh, I see it. So I didn't show him what I had. I just looked at his and it wasn't the same. I saw where he was looking. I was looking on a different dimension. I said, go up. And he goes, oh, I see it now. Write it down. And then I flipped mine over, his over. We matched. But Gary taught me, Kevin, if your mind's going crazy where you're seeing all the time, and it wasn't, because I learned how to control this very young in the Brotherhood. He said, what I do is I take aspirin. And aspirin, or white willow bark, but aspirin being a concentrated form of it, reduces my ability to see. And I said, if that's true, then I wonder if other drugs or other chemicals will reduce. So we started researching this over the years. And pharmaceutical drugs reduce your ability to see. They also reduce your vibration so you can't tap into the pineal gland, into the ether. So the bottom line is, in the 10 steps of manifesting your goals, dreams, and desires, ideally, by the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger said this on his documentary, every successful person says the same thing. You have to see in your mind's eye, you in possession of what you want, and feel now as if you are in possession. The more clearly you can see the picture, the better. But if your ability to picture is limited, fear not. Feel now as if you were in possession. Imagine your life as best you can. And I will give you a second alternative. Get some pictures. So if you can't picture it in your mind, get some physical pictures. For example, if you want a new Porsche, or a Ferrari. That's your dream, your goal. Go to the Ferrari store, sit in it, and have somebody take a picture of it. And put that on the wall and just look at the damn thing. So now you're seeing yourself in possession of what you desire. So you can't see it in your mind's eye. You can see it with these. What if you say, I'm blind? Okay, fine. Take the next step. What are you asking me these questions for? Figure it out. You're a blind person. I'm not. Go to the place and feel the car. And by the way, if you're blind, you shouldn't even be driving a car anyway. You get the idea. All right, let's go to the phone lines. You're live on the air. I'm Kevin Trudeau. What's your name and where are you from?
Hey, Kevin. Good afternoon. This is Lady. I'm calling from Clearwater Beach, Florida.
Oh, hello, hello. Do you have a question or a comment?
A little bit of both. First, I'd like to thank you because you jumpstart my entire life to, I was reading a lot of books, and it wasn't until I ran into Your Wish is Your Command and expedited the process at tremendous levels, because other books give you just bones. You're nothing but good meat, filet mignon in there. And I recall at that time, all I wanted to do was just to get a good job, make some money. And it took me about 5 to 8 years. I'll be 37 next month in July. But at 25, I bought my first $2 million house just by using your techniques and merging that, your techniques, merging those with hard work, working 7 days a week. Now I'm at the point, and my question is, I'm at the point.
Hold on a second before you ask
I inherited a large.
Hold on before you answer the question here. I got to stew on this just for a second. So you listen to the Your Wish is Your Command audio series?
Yes, and everything from there on, all the levels, level 4, level 5, I believe, where you go into some sort of hypnosis that you are just kind of speaking with some background music. So I listen to most of the stuff that you have. I own them and I listen to all of them.
All right,
over and over, and I still do to this day.
So hold on. Obviously, you became amazingly successful. You just bought a $2 million house, or you did that years ago. Because people are going to ask, where can I get Your Wish is Your Command? If somebody is watching, you hear this all the time from people that call in, saying, I listened to the Your Wish is Your Command audio program that I recorded in the Alps 15 years ago or more. It cost back then $50,000 per person to go. We had 100 people there. We had some members of royal families. We had a king from an Asian country, billionaires. It was in an opulent location. I recorded it. I went into the studio, did some editing, added a few things in the studio, packaged it together on CDs. We don't sell it anymore. However, if you are interested in getting it, if you're interested in getting that audio course via a download, just go to yourwishisyourcommand.com. Yourwishisyourcommand.com. And I'm like, yeah, we have it on the screen. Yourwishisyourcommand.com. Just go there. There's a video you can watch which explains all of it, or you can read it or do both. And there's the instructions on how you can get access to the Your Wish is Your Command audio program. So I would highly encourage you, anybody around the world that's in English, but it is, as you're just hearing, the premier success course. It's being called the Think and Grow Rich of our time. All right, so go on with your question. Sorry to interrupt, but that was a great little comment there that I had to pounce on.
Yeah, absolutely. Game changer. Anybody, game changer. Don't waste your time. And it's the small things in there, too, that make such a huge difference. Just the mantra that Kevin gave to me at that time, stating that just feel good, just go as far as you can see. And it's like, what? And things that you can digest in small pieces that, oh, my God. And I read like a book a week, and all the books that Kevin ever recommended. But my question is, I recently inherited a large team. And I'm trying to ask, and thank you for again putting your life on the line here after going to jail and what have you. But my question is, I recently inherited a large team, and I'd like to see what's the best way to manage a large team of, I have about 20 employees.
Okay.
I've built my own team with successful people, but now I inherited.
Okay, I got you. All right, so that's a tricky one, but I'm going to tell you how to do it here. And we're going to go with World's Best Mentor hat. So I'm going to wear my World's Best Mentor hat answering this. So this gentleman has a large team of people. How do you manage them? Or if you're building an organization, how do you manage them? I'm going to give you a couple books if you're interested in managing a group. One is called Speaking from Experience. Do we have a copy of that around here, by the way? Does anybody have a copy handy? No, okay. But the reason I bring it up is we're in our studio, but every member of our company reads that book, Speaking from Experience, and we use those management techniques, org board, battle plans, policies, charts, graphs, managing our company by statistics. Excellent, highly recommend. There's an organization you can become a member of called WISE, W-I-S-E. They use a lot of these techniques. They have the management by statistics software. They have courses. It's excellent. The second book is Karmic Management. Karmic Management. So those are the two things. The third thing is I use a system called Priority Manager, which is a system of managing your priorities. Some people call it time management, but not really. You're managing your priorities. And it's how to communicate with your staff, how to set goals and objectives, how to set chief aims, how to manage by statistics, how to make sure that everything gets done on time and everything is prioritized so you're reaching your goals. That system is a paper-based system, and unfortunately it's kind of waning itself out. I've been using it for 30 or 40 years now. But it's excellent. So those are the things that I do. There's a whole series of things. We use the app Telegram. We also use this app, and all of our staff members are on our company Telegram app. And we communicate via Telegram, either with a voice message. For example, we have the fan club right there. We have a fan club Telegram channel as well, where I can communicate with members of my fan club. It's free. Anybody can join. But our staff has a Telegram channel so that our company, if I want to say something or somebody wants to say something to the whole group, they can just make that announcement verbally or type it in. You can share posts, you can share audios or videos, you can leave text messages or video messages or audio messages. Or if you need to communicate with one person, rather than use email, it's 10 times more efficient and effective because many times it's easier just to leave a voice message and it keeps track of everything. So I use Telegram. I think that's probably the most outstanding management tool in the modern era that can help efficiency as well. Let's go back to the phone lines.
Management
okay.
Tool in the modern era that can help.
I'm Kevin Trudeau. You're live on the air. What's your name and where you're from?
Hey, how's it going? My name is Max, calling from New York City.
All right. Do you have a question or a comment?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've been listening to you for a few years, and recently in one of your videos, you mentioned a really specific amount of money blocks. I forget if it was 27 or 32. You said a really specific number. There's a specific number of money blocks that you can have. And I tried to look into it to see if I could find that list of like in anything you published, and I couldn't come across anything. So I was wondering, where is that list of those money blocks? And the second thing is your thoughts on the recent solar eclipse, if there's anything spooky with that.
Okay, good. First off, in answer to the solar eclipse question, we've had solar eclipses before, not just in America, but they're seen all around the world. It's been going on since infinitum. Nothing changes. It's really no big deal. There's nothing. It's the solar eclipse. All right, the answer to your second question. What I talked about was in the Brotherhood, when I got my training, I was learning how to control my mind and use my abilities to see into different dimensions, move matter, and do things energetically. And that's what that's a group does. There's people with different natural abilities. Some of you have seen a show called Superhuman, and you see some of these abilities of what people can do, which is beyond comprehension, and it's beyond, it's like being a superhero, okay? it's just some people have this natural talent. I happen to think somebody who is a concert pianist or a violinist also is a superhero because they just have so much natural talent. No matter how much I would want to play the violin, there's no way on God's green earth I'm ever going to come close to that type of talent. That's just innate, it's in their DNA, it's natural. So we all have natural abilities and talents to varying degrees. Okay. As I was using the techniques and making some money, I did a direct mail program where I put an ad in the classifieds of the National Enquirer and different magazines like Popular Mechanics and so forth. I wrote a direct mail piece, which I was an expert in. I had learned all the techniques of marketing and sales and how to persuade people with words and energy and so forth. And I did this. I invested some money in the advertising. A lot of people asked for free information. I then sent them a sales letter asking them to buy my book, which was the product. Nobody purchased, and I lost several $1,000s. And this is, in the early 70s. That was a lot of money. So I went to my uncle. Who am I today? Yeah. So I went to my uncle, and I said, this is what happened. He said, look, why do you think? And I said, I feel like I'm swimming upstream when it comes to making money. I feel like, even though I know all the techniques, I feel like I got headwinds. I feel like there's something, like some invisible glass ceiling blocking me. Like the money just can't come in because it's blocked, even though I do all the right things. And he goes, yeah, look more. And I said, there's something blocking. He goes, that's correct. He says, there's an energetic block when it comes to money. Now, I didn't know that there were 33. He just said there's an energetic block when it comes to money. If you want, I can teach you how to release this block, and then it's like the glass ceiling is gone, the windows of heaven open up, and blessings just pour in. And even if you don't do everything right, you still get blessings. And we know this. We see people that when it comes to making money, it's like they don't work long hours. Everything they touch turns to gold. It just seems like they were born under a lucky star. And then many of you think, I was born under a black star or something. I got like a curse on me. I got like a black cloud over my head. I feel like no matter what I do, I can never make money. I get close and never make it. Even if I start making a little bit, then the rug gets pulled out from me and I lose everything. Something's going on. You know this. You feel it. And it's true. There are 33 different energetic blocks. I didn't know there were 33 when I talked to my uncle. And I said, I want to get this removed. He goes, look, if it gets removed, what's going to happen? I said, I can see everything's just going to magically work. He goes, great. Money. This is in the early 70s. He says, money. Because I had to pay for the training in the Brotherhood. And it was thousands of dollars back then. It's probably like $50,000 in today's money. So I had the money. It wiped me out. Here it is. He ran a 30-minute process on me. Money process number 1. I didn't know there was more than this. He ran a 30-minute process. I felt like something physically left my body. I felt like doors were opened. The shackles were off. I now felt like I was swimming downstream instead of upstream. And I felt like the wind was at my back. And I almost felt like there was this army of angels that were like ready to help me make money or something. It was weird. So then I thought, what am I going to do? So I took my direct mail piece and I said, I'm going to try this again and see if it works. So I put the same ads in and I had the same direct mail piece. I just changed 1 or 2 words in the headline, sent it out, and all of a sudden orders by the hundreds started just pouring in every day. And I'd open up envelopes and there's just piles of cash. Within a week, I'd made all the money back that I gave for the money process. And then it just started flowing like milk and honey. It was almost like 10 years before I realized that there was a second money process. And there's actually 33 of them. I did all 33. I ran all 33, and it cost me millions of dollars for that running of those processes called the money processes. I've run them on other people, and every single person I've run them on, the success and prosperity and financial abundance that's just poured into their life afterwards has been miraculous. So I now am offering and do the money processes. A person can come to Chicago. They can get just one money process like I did. It's only $3,000. And I take you to dinner. We put on that once a month. Or if you can't come to Chicago, you buy one money process or more, one of my team will fly to you, and we have the money process delivered via video. And so you can get it delivered live. You can get 10 processes at a discount, and if you want all 30, you get that at a discount. I don't deliver the last 3. They're too powerful, and unless you've reached level, 9 or above in the Global Information Network, you're just not energetically ready to handle the last 3. So if a person is interested in getting more information on the money processes, the dates, if you have questions, the prices, just send us an email. And the email is moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. Moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. If you just send us an email, moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. I don't know if we have that available to put on the screen. Moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. And Megan will get back to you. And if you want to talk to her, she'll be able to talk to you on the phone, answer any questions, give you the dates and locations of where they're at. Moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. So you can check that out. But I'll tell you what, I've delivered the money processes to people just in the last 6 months, and the response from some of these folks is just off the charts, how things have magically changed in their life. Sometimes even within a few hours after finishing the process, and some within a few days or a few weeks. It's just been pretty miraculous. So the email address again is moneyprocesses@kevintrudeau.com. Just send us an email and we'll give you all the information, and Megan will get back to you. Let's go back to the phone lines. Okay, you're live on the air. I'm Kevin Trudeau. What's your name and where are you from?
Hello, Kevin. My name is Philip. I'm calling in from Macedonia.
Oh, wonderful.
My question is health. Yes, my question is health related. So I'm relatively young. I'm 22 years old, and yeah, I'm healthy. So I read your book, Natural Cures, but I got really fanatical, and I got more sick after that. So I started doing a lot of things you mentioned, and I got more sick. And so my question is, how do I reverse that process? How do I become less fanatical? Because I'm getting more sick doing this.
Okay, good question. There's something in the natural healing arts area called a healing crisis. If a person is doing healthy things, they could be releasing so many toxins from their body so quickly that they can get ill or feel ill. And if a person goes from 0 to 100 miles an hour, that could happen. I'll give you just a perfect example. I had a buddy, Andrew, come over to my house in California, and I had a rebounder by Al Carter. He has the best rebounders or mini trampolines in the world, Al Carter's. Him and I traveled together. He wrote the book, The Miracle of Rebound Exercise. I had this rebounder, and I was by the pool jumping up and down doing these exercises for about 45 minutes on this rebounder. So I'm jumping up and down, doing kicks, doing all these types of moves on this rebounder. And when you're jumping up and down on a rebounder, it is moving the lymphatic system and squeezing all the cells. So whatever toxin is in the cell, and that's the fat cells primarily, but all the cells. But toxins are primarily held in the fat cells. And when you're doing this exercise, it will release a lot of toxins into the bloodstream. But I've been doing this for a while, and it's no problem. So Andrew comes over, and this guy's a fit guy. He used to do bodybuilding when he was younger. Him and I would go to the Golden Door Spa. We'd hike, 4 or 5 hours a day and, try to beat each other on the trail. He's 15 years younger than me. He's a strapping, handsome, very, fit guy. So he comes over, and I'm just finishing up my workout. And he says, tell me about this. So I give him the whole drill about, Al Carter and the Miracle of Rebound Exercise. It's a cellular exercise. blah, 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 blah. Makes you stronger, fitter, faster, get your cardio going, makes your stomach flat, all these great things. Improves the quality of your health, releases endorphins, makes you feel happier, blah, blah, blah. All these amazing health benefits of jumping up and down on a rebounder, exercise, but a very particular kind of exercise. He says, let me try. I says, well, don't try for too long because you haven't done it before. It's going to stimulate toxin release. And he goes, look at me. I'm not toxic. I'm healthy. I eat healthy. I exercise. I drink tons of water. So he gets on this thing, starts jumping up. And he's jumping. He's doing some of the moves. And I go, Angela's probably enough. No. 5 minutes. 7 minutes. All of a sudden, around 8 minutes, he stops. He gets off. He turns kind of white. Goes over, runs to the side of the pool, throws up. I go, I told ya. Oh, I feel so sick. What happened to me? I says, you're toxic, brother. You don't even realize it. You think you're healthy. Your body is full of toxins. When was the last time you did a fast? When was the last time you did a colon cleanse? When was the last time you did a liver cleanse? When was the last time you did a gallbladder cleanse? When was the last time you did a spleen cleanse? When was the last time you did a fat cell cleanse? Think about it. You haven't done any cleanses. When was the last time you did a heavy metal cleanse? 0 to all of those. I goes, your body is full of toxins. Every single person watching, your body is full of toxins. You don't know it. So if you start the techniques in the book Natural Cures they don't want you to know about, my book. Do I have a copy of that book around? I do. That's the book. Number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list 26 weeks in a row. If you have not read this book, the government, by the way, confiscated these books, burned these books, cut the contract with the publisher. We're trying to get the copyrights back, and we're going to republish it in a new unit of time, an updated version. You can find secondhand units on Amazon. We don't even have any. I think we have like a few of them here in the office. This is the Bible, 26 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list at number 1. It was number 1 for 26 weeks. It was a best-selling book in the entire United States of America the year it came out. It is the Bible. I'll just read you one little thing here. It says, the thing that bugs me is that people think the Food and Drug Administration is protecting them. It isn't. What the Food and Drug Administration is doing and what the people think it's doing are as different as night and day. And guess who said that? Herbert Lay, former Food and Drug Administration commissioner, right before he died. Was killed. Died. The Food and Drug Administration is protecting the profits of the drug companies, not protecting your health. So this is the book that he's talking about, all the techniques in here. So the point is, if you use the techniques and you're getting ill, just back off. You're doing too much too fast. Number two, it's your attitude. You can't be fanatical. You have to take life lightly. That is the trick to anything. You have to, as my friend Herb Cohen wrote the book, You Can Negotiate Anything. He used to teach his seminar while smoking a cigar. And I walked into a seminar at a hotel, which was a non-smoking hotel. And he's smoking his cigar. And I says, Mr. Cohen, this is a non-smoking hotel. And he said, not anymore. He goes, I negotiated the ability to smoke a cigar while teaching my negotiation seminar. So he got up there and he started teaching. He says, in negotiation, the trick, the key, the most important thing in all of negotiation and in life is you have to care, but not that much. So if you're fanatical, which is what you just said, that means you care too much. And that fanaticism is going to lead to illness in anything. I was on a date years ago with this gal, and I really liked her. We got along well. She really liked me. I thought, anyways, she asked me out. So we went out, and she said, I'm a vegan. And I said, look, this is before veganism was popular. I knew what a vegetarian was. I knew what a lacto-vegetarian was. A vegetarian is somebody who didn't eat meat, They ate vegetables. Anything that wasn't like a living organism was a vegetarian. And then there was a lacto-vegetarian, which meant they could eat milk, but they couldn't eat anything that was a living thing. So they didn't eat crickets or cockroaches or lobster or fish or deer or lamb, anything that was alive, right? But they could eat the living spinach. Okay, but any animal, sentient animal, that was the vegetarian. Vegan is even like worse, or not worse, but more strict against anything animal, right? No animal product at all. Veganism, and that's like the new thing. By the way, I've yet to meet a 100-year-old vegan, just so you know. They don't exist. Anyway, but I have met people who are 100 years old that eat pork every day and smoke non-filter Camels and drink vodka. Now, they don't have any teeth, but they're 100 years old. And guess what? They're happy. So I went out with this vegan. I didn't know she was a Nazi vegan. You'll get what I mean in a minute. So we sat there, and a guy comes over and I picked a particular restaurant that I knew had a lot of vegetables, and you could get vegetarian. They didn't have anything vegan back then, but I'm thinking she should be able to find something she can eat, other than give me some celery sticks and carrots. So we sat down, and by the way, I have no judgment if you're a vegan. I have friends of mine who are vegan. We go out. It's like, I'm a vegan. Hey, no problem. Everything's fine. Everything's beautiful. All right. So we sit down, and the waiter comes over, and he said the speciality of the house is the minestrone, the vegetable minestrone soup. There's no meat. It's vegetables only. It's the speciality of the house. It is spectacular. I said, fine. It's vegetables only, no meat? No meat. Okay, we'll have two of those. She orders like a salad and a pasta primavera or whatever it is. Of course, I order something that I know will really piss her off. Veal. A calf, a little baby cow. Because if that pisses her off, then I'm out the door. So I order like veal parmesan. So the minestrone soup comes, and we both have the minestrone soup, and we're both going, oh man, fantastic. Wow, this is amazing. Oh, this is like the best I've ever had in my life. And she's like, this is the best I've ever had in my life. It's so delicious. Oh, I feel so good eating it. Knowing it's vegetarian, I feel so good. It's so different because, when it's vegetarian, it just makes you feel so different. And I can taste the love in the vegetables. It's just so wonderful. I go, yeah, all I know is it tastes good. And I put a little Romano cheese on it. She didn't because she's vegan. I thought that helped. But it was delicious. So the guy comes over and he goes, how's the soup? I go, you were right, it's spectacular. What's the secret? I'm thinking he's going to say, well, we roast the vegetables first and get a nice char on them before we blend them. Who knows what he's going to say? He says, oh, the secret is we make our own homemade chicken stock here from the bones of chicken. It's like 18 hours, and that's what we use as the base. So it's not vegan, right? She goes ballistic. I can't believe it! I wanted vegan! You didn't tell me this had meat in it! I can't believe it! She's yelling, and people are around the restaurant looking at her, and she's turning beet red. I don't put anything in my body! That's not healthy! And I said, look, darling, it doesn't matter what you eat or don't eat. The fact that you're an asshole means you're going to die really soon. And she looks at me, I go, look, you're so uptight. Don't you think all this stress and anxiety is taking years off your life? Obviously, that was the end of the date. For her, I stayed and had the veal parmesan, just so you know. I'm going to ruin my dinner. Now, fast forward, by the way. I'm with Shi Yan-ming, the Shaolin monk who was the lead monk at the Shaolin Temple in China. When the Shaolin monks traveled around the world, this is about 25 years ago now, first time in history that the real monks from inside the temple were out to travel around the world and show and demonstrate their Shaolin technique. When he defected by walking out of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel in San Francisco, he was on the run for 3 years by the Chinese government and the US government. He finally won his asylum. If he just came across the border from Mexico, he would have had his asylum in 10 minutes. But anyways, took him 3 years to win his asylum. I met him, tracked him down, and I had him live with me. I said, you're going to teach me the secrets of Shaolin Kung Fu. I've been practicing Shaolin Kung Fu my whole life and other types of martial arts and Qi energy. I know how to use my mind. So I want you to teach me the secrets of the temple. So he comes, now he's a Buddhist monk. It's called Chan Buddhism, which means he's a vegetarian because Buddhists are vegetarian, and especially a Buddhist monk. So he comes to my house and I said, okay, so I know you're a vegetarian. So what do you eat? He goes, oh, no, I know vegetarian. I eat anything. I go, I think there's a miscommunication here. You're a Buddhist monk. You practice Chan Buddhism and you're a monk. You are vegetarian. You don't eat meat. Oh, no. I eat anything. I eat everything. I go, anything? Anything. I have no dietary restriction. Okay. So we go, I said, what type of food do you like? He goes, oh, I'm a Chinese. I like a Chinese food. Okay. So we'll go to the Chinese restaurant. So I go up to the Chinese restaurant. I said, hey, I got this Shaolin monk coming. He goes, oh, Kwai Chang Caine come? Oh, from the TV show Kung Fu? I go, no. That's old. That was David Carradine. He wasn't even Chinese. This is a real Shaolin monk from China. Oh, you bring him. I cook everything for him. He vegetarian, I know. No. He told me he's not vegetarian. He eats anything. No. He vegetarian. No, he eats anything. So we go to the restaurant. I said, whatever he orders, I'm going to have. He goes, okay. He said, I would like a bowl of vegetable noodle soup. I like a stir-fried vegetable and a vegetable fried rice. So we eat. Okay. The next meal, he orders vegetable fried rice, vegetable noodle soup, sauteed vegetable. The next meal, vegetable noodle soup, noodles and vegetable, flat noodle with vegetable, rice noodle vegetable, sauteed vegetable, stir-fried vegetable, steamed vegetable, vegetable fried rice. After a week, I said, Shifu, which is the respectful name you call him. Shifu, you lied to me. He said, what do you mean I lie? I asked you if you were vegetarian, and you said no, that you could eat anything. But the only thing I see you eat is vegetables. And he looks at me and he says, I like a vegetable. I go, you mean if I made you a steak, you would eat it? Yeah. I know order steak. I don't like steak that much. But you serve me steak, I eat steak. And I love it. I eat anything. Would you eat pork? I eat anything. Will you eat rattlesnake? I eat anything. Okay, I'm serving you a steak tonight. This guy ate the steak and asked for another piece. Respect for everyone. Someone gives you food, he takes, accepts with love. He has no restriction. What a beautiful way to live. Now, I shy away from pork and shellfish. Hey, if you heard me say the 10 things you should never eat, but then I prefaced it and I go, maybe it's better if you have less. So I stay away from pork. I stay away from shellfish. I grew up on it, but now I shy away. It's not my choice. I'm in Bavaria. I'm at a hotel. The owner's there. We get to know each other. He says, I'd like to invite you over to my house for dinner. My wife is a great cook. Great. So I go over to the house. He says to me, Kevin, my wife drove 2 hours to Nuremberg, Germany to get the special Nuremberg sausages. They're only available in Nuremberg, no place else. So it's 2 hour drive one way, 2 hours the other way. So she's on the road for like 5 hours. And she's serving me these 100% pork sausages. And I remembered the monk. And I says, thank you so much. I'm sure they're going to be delicious. And I ate them knowing that they were given to me with love. And I blessed them with love. And I knew that I was taking the love from that person into my body. And my body can handle any toxin and take care of it. So consider that. Consider that. Well, that's the end of today's show. You have to be with us next week. I can tell you I am going to be giving you information that you are going to listen to, write down, and apply. And I'm going to be blowing the lid off some stuff that you ain't going to believe, but you will know, because I'm going to give you the evidence that it's 100% true and information that's going to improve the quality of your life. I hope you're feeling better right now than when you started the show. I'm Kevin Trudeau. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Click that subscribe button. We need to get those numbers up. And leave a comment. Leave a comment and share this with everyone you know. We need to grow this show with over 1 million subscribers in record time so we can help the planet. I'm Kevin Trudeau. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.